Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to share my screen again so we can get back to our presentation. My name is Lizzy Tahsuda, and I am the director of Campus Greensboro. Campus Greensboro is an initiative of Action Greensboro that is focused around helping students, specifically college students and recent grads, get connected to industry in Greensboro and in the Triad. We're really excited to be helping out with the GuilfordWorks Regional Healthcare Virtual Career Fair. And today we are doing a pre-event to help you get set up for that career fair, help you gain some strategy around how to navigate it. And we also have Premier Virtual here with us today, who is going to talk more about the logistics of how to actually log into the event, get registered, and make sure that all technology is in your favor the day of the event. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I wanted to just quickly plug this career fair. It is coming up on Tuesday, November 10th. If you're not already registered, you should be. It's going to be a really great event. It is free to anyone. So whether you are a college student, a recent grad, even a seasoned professional looking for a career change, maybe COVID-19 has changed your career plans, this opportunity is a great one for you as you think about, whether healthcare could be a good industry for you. So we're going to have over 20 employers in attendance in healthcare from across the state. They're going to have over 1,000 jobs posted, so lots of opportunities in all different areas. So within healthcare, we have job opportunities in clinical roles, so looking at nursing and other health, patient roles. We also have back office business roles, IT within healthcare, and other types of opportunities. So regardless of what you're interested in, there should be something for you if you're interested in working in the healthcare field. This is completely free to attend, which is pretty incredible, so take advantage. And then you do want to register early. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the registration in the chat through the Zoom. I know most of you all are probably streaming through Facebook and maybe through other platforms. You'll also receive information. So after this, we'll make sure to put the registration link in those other platform chats so that you have the registration link. And of course, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out, and we're happy to send you that registration link directly. All right. So now that you kind of understand maybe what the career fair is going to look like, really the thing about a virtual career fair and any career fair actually is your prep beforehand is what's going to make or break your experience. Of course, you want to be ready the day of, and that requires you really to think about this ahead of time and not just log in and wing it. You want to treat this just like any other career fair. If you are going to go to an in-person career fair, you of course would want to make sure you had all of your ducks in a row ahead of time. You wouldn't just walk in and see what it was about. A virtual career fair is similar. You're going to want to make sure that you have everything prepared. So your very first thing you're going to want to do is look at which employers are going to be at the career fair, whether it's the career fair coming up on November 10th with GuilfordWorks or any other career fair you plan on attending. And you want to think about which organizations do I really want to talk to. With 20 employers at a career fair, you may be able to talk to all of them if you're able to spend the full 4 hours on the virtual career fair. But sometimes you may only be able to spend an hour and a half or an hour during the event. So you want to plan ahead of time and know which organizations do I want to talk to, which have job postings that I'm interested in. And the best way to do that is to look at that list and then start researching each organization and make that top 10 or even maybe just top 5 list depending on how much time you have. You'll want to make sure that you plan your time wisely. If you're taking your lunch break, for example, to attend this career fair and you only have an hour, there's going to be a lot of people on this event. So, look at which employers do I want to hit first, what's my favorite employer that I really want to talk to. Ensuring that you're planning your time around that will help you make sure that you can talk to everyone that you want to talk to. So planning out the day and doing your research is really your very first step. And so you can see here, so here are all the organizations that are going to be participating in the regional healthcare career fair that GuilfordWorks is presenting. And so you can see we have a lot of different names here in a lot of different areas of North Carolina and different areas of healthcare. So lots of opportunities. Pretty much any career fair you attend or you register for, you're going to get the link to all the employers that are participating. And so you'll be able to do this research ahead of time. GuilfordWorks has made it really easy on you. When you go to the registration link, each of these logos are actually linked to the company's website. So you could just click on it and start clicking through and learning about each of the organizations and figuring out which may be the best fit for you. So I've said a few times, you need to research the companies or the organizations. And what does that actually mean? So when you're researching organizations, what are you looking for? There are lots of different sources to find what you're looking for in different organizations and to find information about different organizations. Your first step is likely going to be the organization's website. That's what most people look at, and it certainly is a wealth of information. But with an organization's website, you may not find the most up-to-date information. Websites kind of just have an overview of the organization. It may not have what they've been doing currently, and especially in light of COVID, we've had constant changes. And so you don't want the organization website to be your only way you're researching. So start there, but definitely pivot and look at other options as well. LinkedIn is one of my favorite places to research organizations. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you need one. You need one before this career fair. We're actually going to reference LinkedIn a few times to help you get prepared. Recruiters are on LinkedIn. 97% of recruiters look at LinkedIn profiles of job applicants. And if you don't have a profile, it's just hurting you. So it's not a difficult thing to do if you don't already have a LinkedIn. If you do, make sure it's up to date prior to the career fair, so you have all your right information there. You can research organizations on LinkedIn just by looking up their company pages. The reason I really like LinkedIn as a research tool is that it really looks at the most current things the company is doing. So if they recently, expanded offices somewhere, they had a merger or an acquisition, maybe they took on a new project, maybe they have a really cool philanthropy effort. All of those things, they're going to be posting that on their social media, specifically LinkedIn. So you're going to have that information, which may not end up on the website, but might be really good information for you as you enter a conversation with an employer from that organization. Of course, you also want to lean on your connections. If you know people in an organization that you're interested in that's going to be at a career fair, talk to them about it. You don't have to ask them. You're not asking them to help you get the job there, but ask them what has been their experience at the organization. If they were going to define the organization's company culture, what would that look like from their perspective? That information is helpful to you, again, as you enter a conversation with employers, but also as you potentially juggle multiple job offers and you need to know, okay, what information is important to me as I make decisions on what's the best fit. So don't be afraid to use those connections, even if it's a far reach connection. Sometimes a family friend or a neighbor is a good person to reach out to if they work in that organization. Ultimately, when you're researching organizations, in the back of your mind, you need to always be thinking about why you're actually interested in working for that specific organization. So what is it about that employer that stands out to you? How do your values align with theirs? You can apply and mass apply to a ton of different jobs, but ultimately, you're going to want to land in a place that you feel like is a good fit for you. And that can mean, the environment works well for you, the culture works well for you, the interests work well for you. So that's something you're going to be looking for throughout all of your research. And you want to make notes on this. As you're doing this research, don't just absorb it in your brain, write it down. Write down, like, here are the things that stand out to me. Here are the things I would like to ask an employer when I'm talking to them about the organization, which we're going to talk a lot about questions later. But take those notes in the moment so you don't have to go back later. One thing that may change your experience on this is that if you, when you're in an interview, for example, you're going to need this research to help you ask the right questions and provide the right information. And so if you take these notes now, it's going to make your life a lot easier. If you're called for an interview, you go ahead and have that information with you and you're able to prepare much easier. So take the notes, do the research ahead of time. I promise it will pay off. I know it takes time, but it is worth it. All right, so a couple other steps to prepare. Of course, you're going to need to prepare your resume. If you haven't dusted it off in a second, let's say you're looking for a career change, maybe you were furloughed and you're looking for something else. This is the time to make sure it's refreshed, it's updated, it has all the information necessary. Look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, because sometimes, we read something over and over again and our brain fills in things that aren't actually there, and we assume people are able to read between the lines. But the thing about the resume is that that's the only information they have about you initially. And so if you're not putting your best foot forward and you're not putting all the relevant information necessary on your resume, the employer's not going to know anything other than what's on that piece of paper. So it's really important that you keep it up to date and it's refreshed. Ideally, you're tailoring it to the job or the industry. And so that can be as simple as looking at job descriptions, seeing what are they emphasizing, what skill sets are they really looking for in candidates, what have I done, and then making sure that the things you've done that match that the job description are listed on your resume. And you're showing the experience that really shows, hey, I have relevant experience to what you're trying to do, and I would be a good candidate for this role. You really want to get help with your resume. Resumes are subjective and there's a lot of different ways to do them. But getting it critiqued by someone is important because you need a third party point of view on this. I think sometimes, we're very, biased toward our own experience, and we might think something's really important, but maybe the employer is going to be more focused on another area of your resume. And you'll only know that if you get a third party opinion. So if you're in school, you should have a career services office or career development center on your campus that can help you with this. Please take advantage of those people. They're experts. They're working with employers all the time. They know how to help you. They can give you some great advice. And if you're not currently in school, let's say you're an alum of an organization or a university or college, a lot of alumni associations will also help you with your resume. And if you're not, in school or you haven't graduated from a university or college, there are lots of other free services out there to help you get your resume critiqued and help you get assistance. And maybe it's just having, a friend or someone in your circle look at it and make sure that there's no grammatical errors, no misspellings or typos or other things that can put you out the door. So just make sure your eyes are not the only eyes on your resume. Another way to prepare yourself is to think about how you're dressed for the event. So I know that you're sitting in front of your computer, you're not standing, you're not shaking hands. It's different than an in-person fair, but at the same time, you still need to put your best foot forward, which means that you need to be professionally dressed for the event. So dress just like you would if you were going to walk into a career fair. Business professional attire is preferred. So that can mean a suit if you have one. If you don't have a suit, think about the highest quality business casual wear you own. What is something you feel comfortable in? What is something that you feel confident in? That should be what you should pull out for this. Just like you would in an in-person fair, you want to make sure that all of your dress is wrinkle-free, it's clean, it really presents a good impression. So they are looking for that. They want to make sure you have pride in yourself and you're displaying confidence, and your dress can be a way to display confidence. So in addition to preparing yourself, you also need to prepare your space. And this is different than an in-person fair. So if you have not attended a virtual career fair yet, these are some things that you're really going to want to pay attention to, because they can make a big difference in your experience of exploring the event. So first, you want to find a spot in your home that you feel like is the perfect spot for Zoom. So the spot I'm sitting in right now, this is my Zoom spot for anything that I consider kind of more formal. I love it because I have a window in front of me. It lights my face. I do have a window behind me, which I say don't do that, but that's because I can balance it with a window in front of me. If you have just a window behind you, your face is going to be dark. And so you have to balance the light and test that ahead of time. They want to see your face. They don't want to see a silhouette of your head. You want to make sure that your background is blank or neutral. I've heard some funny stories from recruiters during virtual interviews and other things about people sitting in front of bookshelves, and people then all they can think about is reading. What books are they reading? And they get very distracted by what's in your background. And you don't want that to happen. You want them to be focused on what you're saying and who you are as a candidate, not on what's behind you. Of course, you never want to sit in front of dirty laundry or dirty dishes or any kind of, something again that can be distracting from this. It really should be blank or neutral. Sound is key. Obviously, if they can't hear you, you're not going to be making the best impression, and it's going to be difficult for you to explain to them why you're the best candidate. So test this with your laptop or whatever device you decide to use. I do highly recommend that you use a laptop or a tablet instead of a phone. A phone can be jerky, it can be more difficult for you to hold up, and it just can create a smaller screen on their end depending on how it's portrayed, whether it's horizontal or vertical. So using a laptop is best if you have one. If you have a laptop and the sound is iffy, use your headphones, that's okay. It's better to use your headphones and for them to be able to hear you versus you having kind of iffy sound that's buffering and you're having trouble and you're unable to make that connection. Testing your technology ahead of time is very important. You never just want to jump on and assume that where you are in your home is the best place to be for your tech. So I always so right now I'm sitting right near my router. I do this because of course that helps with my speed connectivity and it prevents buffering. So test that ahead of time, know the best place in your home for this and where your Wi-Fi works best so that you don't have to worry about things getting choppy or unstable connectivity. Wherever you end up in your home to do this, you want to eliminate all distractions. So if you have a place where you can shut a door, that's best. That will help people or pets or whoever not come in and out. But either way, you want to let people know who you're with, that you're going to be doing this. So if you have roommates or you live with family or friends or whatever that your situation might look like, tell them, hey, I'm going to be on this virtual career fair. I'm going to need, some quiet. So, please don't bang on the door. Please don't turn up the radio loud, whatever, the situation is, just so you can prepare that way. And it will help you not be very distracted either. Put your pets away. So I have a dog that always tends to bark every time I'm on a Zoom call. It never fails. And so for important things, I make sure that I put her either in another room or outside, depending on weather, just because I don't want that distraction and I don't want, that to be, how I'm remembered, the girl whose dog barked the whole time. Same with cats. I see a lot of cats during Zoom meetings jump up, and in casual meetings, that's fine. But for something like this, again, this is a professional environment, so you want to treat it like that, even though you're in your home. Put your phone on silent, so not just vibrate, but on silent. You don't want it to be vibrating or ringing as you're talking. And then this seems obvious, but I've had a few Zoom interviews where I've seen folks have their TV on in the background. Turn it off, just make sure that there's no noises outside of you speaking. All right, so once you are prepared, yourself is prepared, but also your space is prepared, you want to start thinking about, what am I actually going to talk to employers about here? What can I say about me that's going to allow me to stand out among other candidates? So you may or may not have heard of an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a 30 to 60-second spiel, essentially about who you are, to help someone learn about you quickly. It's called an elevator pitch because if you were going to walk into a building and walk into an elevator, and you happen to be with an elevator with the CEO of a company, and you're going to the 12th floor, that's how long you have to impress them to get them to want to have a further conversation with you. So an elevator pitch, I'll tell you, I think they're really important to have and to be ready for, but I also think that sometimes people take them really seriously and they'll script their elevator pitch and they'll get really robotic. So while I think you need to have some talking points, including of course your name, your degree if you have one, any previous jobs or internships you've had, what are your career goals, and then maybe something memorable about you. So what makes you different? You need to have those talking points together, but you don't want to type it out and then memorize it and then just say it. That comes off kind of inorganic, and it actually makes you look more nervous than you would if you were just having a normal conversation with someone. So just keep that in mind. You can absolutely tailor your elevator pitch to the organization. So if one of your favorite employers, or you have a top employer who's going to be at this career fair, and you have previous experience with them in some sense, tell them about that. They're going to want to hear how you relate to the organization, and the elevator pitch is a good time to do this. You use elevator pitches typically as your introduction, but of course you're going to go further about who you are in a conversation. So this is not be all end all, but it's a good starting point as you enter a chat with an employer to help the conversation get started. So once the conversation is started, you're going to need to keep it going, and you're going to want to think about all the different talking points that make you you. So again, don't wing this. When nerves take over, we tend to forget to talk about some of the most important things. And so have notes in front of you. The great thing about a virtual career fair is you're able to have, some supplemental materials that can help you through the process. You don't want to stare down and read notes the whole time. That's not the goal. But if you have something to glance down, or just something that might just be a security blanket, having it next to you, making you feel better, knowing that you have something to reference if you feel like you're getting stuck. So I recommend, and again, don't script this, don't write out full sentences of what you want to say, but you can bullet point a few things. So what are your career interests and goals? What has been your experience, whether that's volunteerism, internships, other jobs? Why do you want to work for them? So going back to the very first thing we talked about, which is researching the organization. What did you learn when you did that research that you want to tell them, hey, I know this about you, and this makes me really interested in your specific organization. That's what they want to hear. They want to know that people are eager to work for them, people who've primed themselves, they've done their research, and this is the best time to talk to them about it. You want to ask good questions, and you want to have these prepared ahead of time. Again, your research is going to help here, and we're going to dive into questions in just a second. And then last, depending on the employer, you can ask for their contact information. So sometimes, employers are really open with that, and they're able to give you their email addresses, and you're able to follow up that way. Other times, they may not be interested in giving that out at a career fair, and that's okay. Don't take that personally. It just depends on the policy of the employer. But you can find them on LinkedIn and other ways, which we'll talk about too. So questions, preparing questions is important. I actually hear often that employers tell me, the questions someone asks really reflects on how interested they are in the organization and what we're doing, but also, the prep that they've done. So it really can reflect on you. Good questions include company-specific questions. So again, going back to your research, and also recruiter-specific questions. If you're chatting with a specific recruiter and you want to know, how long have you worked with your organization? What has been your career path up until this point? Those kind of questions and that kind of information can be really helpful to you, and it can really help make this a balanced conversation, which can be really nice. Not so good questions. You never want to just ask an employer, what do you guys do? I hear that a lot from employers, that students and recent grads and otherwise job seekers in general will just ask, what do you guys do? And that just shows you really haven't done your research. It shows you just logged on and now you're just kind of winging it, and you don't want to do that because it just shows that, you just didn't put the effort in. You don't want to ask, are you hiring? Look at the job board, right? So like, don't ask them things that you can easily find on your own. So don't ask them questions around, what would the typical day look like in this specific job? Well, that's on the job description. So that's not a helpful question for you. You're not going to get new information from asking that question, but also it's kind of dull for the recruiter. So ask them things that are a little bit, different, that show that you put effort in ahead of time. Ultimately, your goal is to ask questions with the intent to learn. So you want to take all the information that they're giving you from asking these questions and use that. If you end up getting an interview for a role, you now have a little inside view from your conversation with this recruiter, and you can use that information as you go into your interview. It also could help you make a good decision whether you want to accept an offer with that specific organization. And as you ask questions, it's okay to take notes. So if they, give you some really great, tidbits of information, write it down. Again, we don't want to see the top of your head the whole time, right? You don't want to constantly be looking down and writing notes, but you can certainly take them as you're talking. Just a couple quick tips about virtual in particular. So with your video, again, I highly recommend using a laptop over a phone. It's going to make it a lot easier on you, and ultimately it's probably going to be a better experience for everyone. But you want to look at your camera at eye level. So you want to make sure that you're not, looking down, depending on where their box is on the Zoom. If you're in a video chat, you can move their box up to closer to your camera, and that will help it feel more like eye contact. You want to sit up straight. So I know, again, we're at home, we're a little bit more relaxed. Doesn't mean we need to slouch on our couch. So still sit up straight. You're still in a professional environment. Remember that. And again, this is really not much different than a conversation in person. So just consider that, and don't let the camera or the virtual environment make you more nervous than you need to be. With text chat, so Premier Virtual has both. So for this upcoming career fair, Premier Virtual has both video and text capability, and Jason with Premier Virtual is going to talk about those capabilities in a few minutes. So you're going to have a chance to also chat with them via a text platform. And with that, you want to remember to always use proper grammar, capitalization, punctuation. You're not texting with your friends. You are, talking with a recruiter who could potentially hire you. And so, don't use emojis or slang or acronyms. Keep it professional and just remember who you're speaking to, even if it's in a chat, which might feel like a little bit more informal. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about follow-up, and this will depend on how much information you get from the employer with your experience with them. So if you were able to get their contact information and their email address, email them right after the fact and thank them for their time. If you can't, we're going to talk about the alternative, but let's pretend like you got their contact information, you're able to send them an email. You want to send them a really short thank you for your time. Let me tell you why I'm so interested in this job email. A lot of times when I think about thank you emails, people will get really long-winded. They'll end up kind of making it a second cover letter. So they'll end up talking about all of their qualifications again. And that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is just to tell them thank you and to, get their, have them have your contact information and keep your name in their mind. You could ask questions. So if you, forgot to ask something, or if there's something that's on your mind, you could ask them a question in this thank you email. You can mention something memorable from your conversation. So let's say you guys, talked about how this specific organization's philanthropy, they recently did a volunteer opportunity as a group, and that's actually a philanthropy you've worked with as well, and you guys connected on that point. Mention that in the email. Help them remember who you are. And again, reiterate your interest and why you're interested in a specific role. But ultimately, this entire thing should be no longer than a paragraph. They will not read something really long-winded, so don't try to overwhelm their inbox. The more likely scenario is that you're unable to get their email address, and that's okay. Again, don't take it personally. Different employers have different policies, but you're able to connect with them on LinkedIn. So we talked about LinkedIn in the beginning and how important it is, especially when you're on the job search. So again, make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date, and this can be a way to stay connected with the employers that you meet. So first, check to see if the employer is involved in any other virtual career fairs or events. If they are and you are able to join those events too, it can be a really great way. If you meet them multiple times, you will really stay top of mind for them. So that can be a way to stay connected. With LinkedIn, you're going to want to connect with them, but don't just send the connection button. So if you have a LinkedIn, you know this. If you don't, we're going to go through it. When you are connecting with someone, you'll find their profile. So you can just type their name at the top. It's really simple. You'll find them, you'll click on them. If they're a recruiter, you're going to find them right away because all recruiters are on LinkedIn because they use it so frequently. When you click connect, it's going to ask you, do you want to customize the invitation? And you always want to say, add a note, always. Don't just click send now. Send add a note, because they get a lot of connection requests and they may not remember who you are right away just based on your name. So when you add a note, you're able to remind them, hi, I met you at this virtual career fair hosted by GuilfordWorks. Really enjoyed our conversation around this and learning more about this with your organization. Thank you again for taking your time to come to that event. And I hope that we can stay connected. Simple, to the point. It helps refresh them on how you met them, and it's a professional way to keep connected. Also, by connecting with them on LinkedIn, hopefully you're active on LinkedIn and you post things, and when you do, you'll pop up on their newsfeed. So you'll immediately come back to their mind each time you're on LinkedIn and doing something if you connect with them too. So that is important. All right, so that is what I have to say about strategies and tips on how to navigate a virtual career fair around the actual conversation points and staying connected with these employers. I know that we have people streaming live on Facebook in addition to people in the Zoom room. So we're not going to take questions right now. What I'm going to do is if you're on Facebook, if you will comment your questions in the live stream on Facebook, I will go back through after this and answer your questions. If you're in the Zoom room and you have questions, you can put it in the chat and I will answer them through the chat function. But I am now going to turn it over to Jason with Premier Virtual. He's going to share his screen and he's going to go through the ins and outs of actually navigating it as a tech, from the tech perspective. So go ahead, Jason. I think you're on mute.
Yep, unmute. First rule of virtual, make sure you unmute your microphone. Thanks, Lizzy. My name is Jason Einbinder. I'm the Director of Sales here at Premier Virtual, which is the platform with which GuilfordWorks is hosting the event that you'll be attending. So what I want to do is I want to go through, Lizzy did a great job talking about some of the best practices and going through that. And I'm going to walk you through the registration process and what it's going to be like on the day of the event and how to actually communicate and implement some of the things that Lizzy spoke about. So for starters, I like to talk about system requirements. Lizzy already mentioned laptops, desktops are the best way to the best things to use. Our platform is accessible via phone, tablet, anything, anything with a browser. From a browser standpoint, Chrome and Edge are typically the best. Internet Explorer, unfortunately, depending on your version and your operating system, may give you some problems. So please, if you don't have it, download Chrome. Make sure you're on Chrome or Edge are two of the best options. And I use personally Safari. Safari works fantastic as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through the registration process. So the link that Lizzy has provided is going to take you to this page. And this is the registration page. This is where it talks about the event. They do have the featured employers listed as well. So as Lizzy mentioned, this is where you can come and see, who should I be researching prior to the event. To register for the event, you're going to type register, put in your email address. I'm going to make one up because I already have. I want to show you the registration process. And now I'm going to put in my name, phone number. I'm going to create a password. And I'm going to, let me make sure I put in the correct password. I'm struggling with it. Sorry about that. There we go. And I'm going to upload my resume. So I click on resume. They do have to be in PDF format. This is where you upload your resume. And I'm going to go grab my resume. If I have one that is actually I apologize. Thought I had one that was a PDF ready to go. I apologize. I've lost my resume. There we go. Sorry. So I upload my resume and I click create account. Now it's going to ask you, there's 3 questions you're going to answer. So are you registered with NC Works? Yes or no? How did you hear about the event? And then are you currently employed? And I click register. Now when I register, it takes me to my dashboard, my candidate dashboard. From here, I want to put a photo. I recommend you use the same cover shot you have on LinkedIn. Usually a very good one to put in there. You go in, grab that photo and save the photo. And now I have a photo on file. Right here, we do provide frequently asked questions and training videos as well. So if you need a refresher, go back here. We also have some best practices that might be a little bit different from what Lizzy talked about, but still some great points as well. I can view the resume that I have on file. I can edit my profile if I need to change my phone number, or say I refresh my resume before the event or decide to change something. I can go in here and update that resume as well. So on the day of the event, this is your event. This is the event that I just registered for. And on the day of the event, this button here will say go to lobby. Prior to this, that button will not be live. You won't be able to enter until the event starts. So when you go in the lobby, you're going to see all of the different, industries that are hiring. So if you're looking for a nurse, a job in nursing, you would go into nursing, allied health, patient support, so on. And the welcome room is where you're going to find the GuilfordWorks people, and I believe they're going to be sending out some communication of things that are other things that could be going on. But really, this is to help you find the companies that are hiring in the field that you're interested in. I do encourage you, look around, look everywhere. Don't just go to one place. You might make a connection with somebody who may not have a job today in a field you're interested in, but you might be able to connect for future opportunities. So I'm going to look in the administrative and clerical, and now I see all of the companies that are hiring in administrative and clerical. Gone Fishing is not going to be a company in your event. That's one that I use for demonstration purposes. So, but I'm going to go in and check out Gone Fishing. Now, once I enter their booth, there's a few things that I see. The first thing I see is their organization bio. Lizzy's already told you to do your research ahead of time, and I do highly recommend that. However, very good idea before you start applying for jobs or chatting. Read this. This might be some of the most updated information. They might talk about some things that are very important to this event. So I can come in and I can read the organization bio that they have entered. From there, I can also view the job vacancies, or I could click on them on that booth itself. And now I see all of the jobs that they have posted for this event. Now, right from here, I can also click on view job details, where hopefully they have more information than I do, which they will. But I can read about the job that they have posted. And if it's something that I'm interested in, I can actually submit my resume right here, indicating that I have interest in that position. So that is the first step. Now, the other thing, these 3 links over here, every company is going to have different links over there. They may only have 1, they may have 3. This is additional information that the company has chosen to share with the candidates to better help you do research. They might answer some of those questions that Lizzy said right here in those links. So make sure you're clicking on those and checking out what information they posted. We've seen employers do everything from tours of our facility to, information about benefits to meet the recruiter videos. So make sure you're looking at those. That's all information that when we're training the employers, that's what they put in there is usually everything they want a candidate to know before they talk to them. So what you don't want to do in that preparation piece is go in, and I'm going to talk about the chat in a second, is the first question is, what jobs do you have available? As Lizzy already mentioned, they've listed their jobs, and also asking a question that they've already answered in one of those links or in the organization bio isn't a great first impression. So make sure you're looking through and doing your research before you reach out and start talking to them. Now, they'll also provide any social media links that they have available as well that they want to share with the candidates. You may even find that LinkedIn information right here to connect with either a recruiter, or it could at least direct you to the company's page so you can connect while sitting right here within the event. So the last part, what that Lizzy talked about was the communicating with the employer. Now, Lizzy did talk a lot about the video portion. Not all employers will engage you in a video chat. So you do have to be very prepared to communicate via text. As Lizzy mentioned, this is not texting with our friends, with with someone else. This is a professional chat. At the same time, you don't want to write paragraphs. These are much like, Lizzy's thank you letter. Your elevator pitch, have that prepared in the event that they bring you to a face-to-face and want to do a live video. But have that elevator pitch knocked down to 3 quick sentences. Hi, my name is this. These are the jobs I'm looking for, or this is the job I just submitted my resume for. And here's some key things about me. One thing you can do that I recommend, if you're going to have that elevator pitch in a chat, in text format ready to go, create a Word document that you type that out on. Make sure your spelling's all correct. And you can actually have that open during the event. And now when I come into this room and I see that I want to, there's a job that I'm interested in, or I want to introduce myself to the recruiters, I can click on chat now and I can copy and paste that message right into here. So I don't have to type it out every booth I go to, or I can send a message quickly to the recruiters, to the company right here. I know I'm using short messages just for the sake of time and because I'm here. But all of your communication will be direct with that employer. No other candidate can see it. Another employer can't see it. It's private between you and that employer. Now, when you send that message, the employer gets that message immediately and they can respond to you. Oh, I apologize. And they can respond to you. But what I want to show you is if I close out that chat box and I receive a message from that employer, I get an audio alert that I've received a new message. My chat box came up and I see the new chat from Gone Fishing along with the photo of the recruiter and the recruiter's first name and when they sent it. So I can now have my conversation with them and respond and continue speaking with them. Now, the other thing about our platform is our chat follows you no matter where you go within the event. So in the event that I sent Gone Fishing a message, you don't have to sit there and wait in Gone Fishing's booth. You can actually leave and come over here and I can be looking at Bethany Medical. And from here, that employer can send me a message and my chat box will come up. I will get an audio alert and it will flash indicating that I received a new message from Gone Fishing. So now I can continue my conversation with Gone Fishing. You can actually have an unlimited number of, be speaking with an unlimited number of companies. And each time you chat with a new company, they'll be listed on the left side. So you can be, I could be in, you know, another booth and have 3 or 4 chats going on with different employers. So I encourage you, keep moving. This is your perfect opportunity to get through and go from booth to booth and make sure you see all the companies and try to connect with as many people as possible during the event. So that's, as Lizzy mentioned, a couple other things I already told you, you know, I mentioned the using a Word document or an email with some of your common responses that you want to share. Maybe you want to share your email address with the employer or something right there. You want to be able to do that as well right here within the system. So another thing, the last thing that Lizzy had talked about was the video chat. So it's up to the employer to determine if they want to do a video chat. You can ask, you know, are you doing video interviews or are you available for a face-to-face? You know, are you willing to do them? But we train the employers on they're the ones that have to initiate that. And there's the way that happens. I'm actually going to show you I have to show it in a different format because I can't initiate it while I'm on a Zoom call. But if a recruiter, let me try to zoom in a little bit. If a recruiter or a company asks you to be a part of a one-on-one video chat and you say yes, they are going to send you are going to see this pop up, and it pops up right at the bottom, right over your chat. They can actually send it to you wherever you are in the event. So if you are in a different room and they agree to a video chat, it's not like you have to go back to their booth. They can send you this link and you're going to see it no matter where you're at in the event. And you click start chat to agree to enter the chat. The first time that you do a video call, your browser is going to prompt you to give permission for your microphone and your camera. Make sure you click allow to allow your camera to initiate and your microphone to be used. And then you are going to enter a video chat with that employer right there. You're going to see the employer large, your picture will be off to the right, and you'll be able to have that one-on-one meeting. You can minimize it and do other things with the event. I don't suggest that. Give the full attention to the interview. Any of the other chats that are coming in, this is, you know, they understand that you may not respond immediately. You may be in another video chat. So don't feel like you have to be watching what else is going on. Most of these face-to-face conversations are going to be a few minutes. I wouldn't expect a 30-minute interview in the course of an event, but give your full attention and focus on what's going on here. So when it's over, you click the X and it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to leave? And you're going to say yes, or the recruiter or the employer is going to end that as well. So that is really the extent of your time in the event and interacting with the employers. Take notes, make sure you have something to write on. You know, remember which companies you visited, remember the recruiters' names so you can reach back out, connect with them on LinkedIn if they didn't provide their information. But that's really, that is how you enter and navigate and communicate with employers during the event. So Lizzy, back over to you.
Thank you, Jason. That was really helpful, especially knowing that, you know, if you've done different types of virtual career fairs, you know, they all look a little bit different. So it's key that you understand, you know, how to work Premier Virtual's platform in particular for this event coming up. All right, well, that concludes our event today. We hope that this was helpful to you. We hope that this will prime you for the event. So again, the GuilfordWorks Regional Healthcare Career Fair is going to be on November 10th. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., so it's come and go whenever your schedule allows. And I know that these employers are excited to meet some really great talent. They have a lot of jobs posted in all different areas. So I hope that you consider joining us on November 10th. Okay, well, thank you again and register early and we'll see you then. Bye guys.
Good luck. Thank you.